Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 61 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine today. This issue starts off our next Combat Patrol, the Genestealer Cults, with a Magus. So we'll paint her up, and you will see her in one of today's games. But then, because her game's going to be quite short, we'll be playing a Combat Patrol game, where we'll see the full Leagues of Votann Combat Patrol in action as well. First, you have the build guide for the Magus. It's actually very short because pretty much all of her instructions fit into one page. Be a little bit careful when taking her off the sprue. There are a few little fiddly bits. And then just glue on her staff and her dagger, or the option of a little orb in her offhand. And she's ready to be painted. Well, we're starting with a base coat of Mechanica Standard Grey. We've got Mephiston Red for her outer robe. Administratum Grey is a highlight to her collar. Wraithbane for her flesh. Lead Belcher for her staff, and her holstered pistol, and her dagger blade, and any other bits you want to be silver really, and Retributor armour for any of the more decorative bits, like the other parts of her staff, the hilt of her dagger, and the tassel that comes off her belt, and Khajiit flesh for any leather pouches. And she has a couple of files around her belt as well, which you can paint with Ork flesh, and Screamer Pink for some of the gems. And then appropriate washes, no and all for any of the grey areas, just be careful around her collar so you don't get on her skin, the red parts, and any silver parts. Reichlem Flesh Shade for any of the gold, and also any of the leather parts as well. Caribou Crimson for her skin, give it a slight purplish hue. Colia Green Shade for the files. After that we need to relayer Mephiston Red to make the cloak brighter again. And then for highlights we have Mechanica Standard Grey for all the grey bits. Stormhost Silver for the silver and gold areas. Nightquest or flesh for the leather bits, Pink Horror for her gems, and then Pallid Witch flesh over her skin to give her that pallid alien look. And there she is up to this point with the base. Then some background on the Genestealer Cults themselves. They are formed around a Tyranid vanguard organism, the Genestealer, which are worshipped by the cults as divine beings that are heralds of a coming deliverance from the tyranny of the Imperium. Cults will fester in areas until the time is right for them to rise up. Usually when the Tyranid hive fleet draws near, a psychic order will trigger an uprising, often by assassinating planetary rulers, sabotaging the defenders from the upcoming Tyranid invasion, using captured weapons and repurposed industrial equipment, anything they can get their hands on really. And various mutants and misshapen creatures of different types will erupt out of the slums and lower areas of the planet. But only when the Tyranids finally arrive will they realise the folly of their actions. Once they find a populated world, the Genestealer will infect the populace with its DNA, and their offspring will become human-Tyranid hybrids. And the Genestealer cultists will revere their alien progenitors, though they don't really understand the truth of the Tyranids. So the centre of each cult is the Patriarch, an extremely large and powerful Genestealer, which is psychically in control of the rest of the cult. And as the generations progress, the offspring will become more and more human-like, losing most of the alien attributes, which allows them to infiltrate pretty much every area of Imperial society. So the first and second generation hybrids will be the most alien-like, usually having 3 or 4 arms, but this gives them great strength, so they're capable of using even heavy industrial equipment easily. While the third and fourth generation hybrids will be much more human-like, able to pass amongst other humans. But then once the fourth generation reproduce, the Tyranid DNA reasserts itself, and their offspring will be a pure strain Genestealer. And then sometimes this merging of human Tyranid DNA doesn't quite work out as expected, and in any generation a aberrant may be born instead, who will be malformed, abnormally large and strong, but make excellent shock troops. And then have a name generator for the Genestealer Cult's characters, so you can come up with a title and the name of your cult. And a Cults Magus is usually very human in appearance, which allows them to fit in with the rest of Imperial society, and will often use their psychic abilities and charisma to worm their way into the upper echelons of the administration. So you can come up with a name for your Magus, and when you've built, painted and played with them. And then we have her datasheet, which I'll let Will go over now.
So as we mentioned at the start of the video, we will have a full Combat Patrol game in this video, as well as the Magus' introductory game, because that game is going to be quite short. But of course we do have to have a look at her datasheet. So she has a 6th inch moved, is toughness 3, and with a 5+ save and only 4 wounds, a leadership of 6+ and an OC of 1. She has an auto pistol, which is a pistol, with a 12 inch range, 1 shot that hits on a 3, strength 3, AP 1 damage, and she has her Magus stave, which is a psychic melee weapon with 3 attacks that hit on 3s, are strength 5, AP -1 and D3 damage. She can be attached attached to the Acolyte Hybrids and Neophyte Hybrids units that we will be getting in future issues, and therefore has the Leader core ability, as well as Deep Strike, and her special ability is Spiritual Leader, where while she's leading a unit, models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 5+ ability, but only against psychic attacks, which in this collection is probably only the Librarian and the Farseer's psychic weaponry, and of course is an infantry character and Psyker herself. And there is mention of Deep Strike ability at the bottom, which we've seen before, but it does remind you that unit can only use Deep Strike with an attached leader if all of the models have the Deep Strike ability, but fortunately both the units she can be attached to do have the Deep Strike ability as well. And then we have our introductory game, Sowing the Seeds, where the time of ascension on a world with the Genestealer Cult uprising is nearing and Tyranid structures have begun to sprout from the ground. However, forces of Aeldari are desperate to prevent this and have sent warriors to try and destroy these before they can grow to maturity. And it says the scenario is designed for solo play, so you can play it by yourself, but you can also have someone take the role of the Aeldari if you wish, which of course we'll be doing here. The Genestealer Cult player has the Magus, obviously, and the Aeldari force is 4 Guardian Defenders. So we set up Battle Map 1 on the industrial side with 4 of our Tyranid terrain cards. The Magus is deployed in the exact centre of the board, and then there are 4 Aeldari deployment zones, 1 in each corner. 1 Guardian goes in each of those 4 deployment zones. The Genestealer Cults player wins if the Magus kills all the Guardians before the Tyranid structures are destroyed, which is the Aeldari objective to destroy them, and there's no turn limit for them to do that. And in this game, the Aeldari Guardians do not move, and they only attack the Tyranid structures, and in their turn they will attack the structure closest to them. And if you remember from the very beginning of the magazine, all of the Tyranid structures have a wounds and save characteristic listed on the cards themselves. The Magus gets to move and attack normally, and if one of the Tyranid terrain pieces is destroyed, then that Guardian will then attack the next closest one with shooting attacks in subsequent turns. So as you can see, having read through those rules, this game is really not going to take very long at all, but here are the victory outcomes for it. We'll get that first game set up, and once that's done, we'll play a full combat patrol game with the Leagues of Votann versus the Orks. So here is our board set up. We've obviously got our 4 Tyranid terrain features in the centre. You can see a Guardian in each corner, and the Magus in the middle. We'll look at our new Magus here, and also the 4 Tyranid infestation sites. So they all have 2 wounds. Going clockwise from the top left, we have the large one, which has toughness 5 and a 5+ save, the armoured one, which is toughness 6 with a 4+ save, the small one, which is toughness 2 with no save, and the medium one in the bottom left with toughness 3 and a 6+ save. It doesn't say who goes first, but we're going to let the Genestealer Cult Magus go first in this, because if the Aeldari go first, they'll just get a huge advantage, most likely. And seeing as it's supposed to be a solo game, it makes sense for the player to go first.
So I'm going to move the Magus to the right side of the board. I'm going to try and save the small site, because it's going to be wounded on 2s by the Guardians, so if I don't save it now, it's probably going to die. And I think she will shoot at the Guardian in the bottom right corner, because it'd be a 7-inch charge if I don't kill him. So she hits on a 3 with her auto pistol. Oh, she missed. We're going to have to try and charge the Guardian, needing a 7. Oh, she got an 8, so she's in.
So successfully making the charge there, and obviously then getting to strike first. In fact, strike at all, because the Guardians do not actually attack the Magus at all, it specifies.
So 3 attacks on 3s, getting 1. Strength 5, so wounds on a 3. Oh, it does. It's AP -1.
5+ save for a Guardian. Oh, made it. So the Guardian actually survives, but at least won't be able to shoot. But the scenario does specify that the Guardians do not attack the Magus at all. We take that to mean even in melee, but it will now be the Aeldari turn. So the Guardians obviously don't move, and apart from the one who's engaged in melee, they all shoot at their nearest sites. We'll start on the top left, and then do top right, and then bottom left. So this one up here is shooting the large infestation site. 2 shots hitting on 3s, managed to miss once, and this infestation site's toughness 5, so we're winning it on the 5. Nope. Then we've got one shooting the armoured infestation site in the top right on 3s, and winning on 5s again. There's a wound on this one.
The 5+ save. Nope, takes a wound.
Finally, the one on the bottom left, the medium site, hitting on 3s again, both hit, and wounding on 3s because this one's only toughness 3. 2 wounds, and it only has a 6+ save, so with the AP -1, that will go straight through. That destroys the medium infestation site. But presumably there is still a combat phase in the Aeldari turn, so the Magus goes to hit this Guardian again.
Well, she's got 3 attacks on 3s. Still can only manage 1. And she wounds.
5+ save again. Made it again.
Well, then it's the Magus's turn. So she'll shoot her pistol at the Guardian and hit. And wound.
4+ save against this. Failed that, so the Guardian goes down. So the Magus is now free to move again, and 1 Guardian is down, but it is back to the Aeldari turn. And the Guardian in the bottom left now shoots at the closest site, which is probably going to be the large one at the top of your screen in the middle there. That's assuming the one in the top left doesn't manage to kill it. We'll go in the same order as before. 3s, 1 hit, and no wound. Top right against the armoured site, gets 1 hit, and doesn't wound this time. And then the one in the bottom left gets 1 hit, and does wound. The large site, which has a 5+ base save.
So 6+. Nope, takes a wound.
So 2 of the sites down to 1 wound, and we're back to the Magus' turn.
So Magus is going to move towards the Guardian in the top right corner. Same deal, we'll shoot with the pistol and then charge if we need to. 1 shot on a 3. It hit. Wounds on a 4. Nope. And then going to need an 8-inch charge. Nope.
So back to the Aeldari turn, we'll do the same order of shooting as previously. Top left at the large site gets 1 hit and fails to wound. Top right at the armoured site gets 2 hits and a wound.
Oh, with a 5+ save. Made it.
And bottom left at the large site gets 1 hit and no wound. Back to the Magus.
So heading for the previous target, shoot him and then charge if we need to. Auto pistol hits on a 3. Nope. And then it's a 2-inch charge, but I'll roll it anyway. 7. Really. He's into that Guardian. 3 attacks on 3s. All 3 hit. Wounding on 3s. No, only 1.
With a 5+ save. This Guardian's arm was not so proof against sticks, so that one goes down as well. So 2 Guardians left, but they get to shoot again. Top one is shooting at the large site. 1 time. Gets a wound, -1.
6+. Nope.
That one goes down. So the other Guardian is now closest to the small infestation site, so we'll shoot that one. On 3s, getting 1. And it'll be wounding on a 2 because it's only toughness 2. That's a wound and no save, but it still has 1 wound left.
Well, the Magus is advanced, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, back to Aeldari. Top left shooting at the armoured infestation site now. Still only 1 hit and no wound. And then shooting at the small one. They both hit. 1, 2 is enough. Yes, 2 2s. So that one goes down as well. So there's only 1 site left and it only has a single wound. Can the Magus finish off the Guardians before it goes down?
Well, keep heading towards that Guardian in the top left. Try and shoot him with the pistol. It hits. And it wounds.
4+. Yes.
So charge. 5 is enough. So we're into that Guardian. 3 attacks on 3s. 1. And it doesn't wound.
The Guardian's tied up, but there's 1 who can shoot at the armoured site. It hits it twice, wounds on 5s. No wounds. Another turn available for the Magus.
2 hits in melee this time. And 2 wounds.
5+ saves against the staff. Made 1, but not the other, so that Guardian goes down. And it's the Magus' turn next.
So we're heading towards that one in the thing. Going to take a shot in first. Hits on a 3. No. So we've got to charge. An 8. Just enough to get her in. So 3 attacks. She gets 2. And 3s. 1.
5+. Failed. So the Guardian goes down. So the last Guardian is defeated and the Tyranid structures are saved. Well, one of them is just about. So that will be a Genestealer Cult victory for that game. But obviously that was very quick, so as I said, we're going to play a Combat Patrol game now, so we'll set that up. And for this campaign game, we're actually going to cheat slightly and skip ahead all the way as far as issue 65, which we obviously wouldn't be able to do if we were doing this in sequence. The reason for this is because we want to see the Leagues of Votann and we also want to see the Orks, Boomdackers and Nauswagen in action, otherwise we'd have to wait several issues to see this. And we've also seen all the other factions lots, so it's good to get the 2 newest factions on the board more often. So this will be Leagues of Votann versus Orks on Forward Outpost. As usual, there's a bit of background flavour as to why this fight's taking place. And of course the victory outcomes on the back, which have relevance for the full campaign. We'll get the board for this set up and get straight into it. So we have our 2 combat patrols deployed for Forward Outpost, and as a reminder of how this mission works, there are 5 victory points for each of the 2 objectives in No Man's Land. That's 1 and 4 down the centre line, and 10 victory points if you control the one in your opponent's deployment zone, nothing for your own objective. And also if you control your opponent's objective, they can't use the command reroll stratagem while it remains under your control. So I'll be playing the Orks for this game, and you can see some of the army on the field because I've given the war boss the teleporter enhancement, so he and one of the units of boys are in deep strike. But we've got the other unit of boys to the left here, that's the one with the big shooter, the Death Dread up towards the top of the board, and the Boomdackers Nauswagen making its combat patrol debut, sitting at the back. And the war boss and a unit of boys waiting to come in with the teleport enhancement, as I said. And for my secondary objective, I've picked a proper loot in so I can gain points for looting objectives that aren't in my deployment zone. And then in the day of debuts, we have the Leagues of Votann Combat Patrol in their first full game.
Yeah, so I've got the 3 Pioneers at the top of my deployment zone, and the Hearthkin with the Carl behind the cover, so that they're in range to sticky objective 3, because I'm going to need to move off it. I've decided to run the Hearthkin as a full unit of 10, because I think that would help with my secondary objective, and then the Berserks near objective 3, and I'm taking the default enhancement as secondary objective, so the default enhancement is Waste Feeds the Void, so the Carl's unit can reroll hit rolls of 1 for range attacks, and they can fall back and shoot. And then my default secondary is Toil Earns, where at the start of the deployed army step I picked an objective, and I picked objective 1, and then from the second battle round onwards I score 4 VP if I control that objective at the end of my turn.
And objective 1 is the one in the centre at the top of the board that you can see here. So there we go, another aerial view of the board. We'll be rolling off to see who gets the first turn. So Orks and the red dice, Leagues of Votann on the white. Orks have rolled a 2.
Oh, I got a 1.
So that means we'll be Orks turn 1.
So I could scout with the Pioneers, but since I'm going second, I don't think I will, because I could get them towards objective 1, that might put them in range to be charged by the Death Dread.
So everything's moving up, because, well, what else are Orks going to do? The Death Dread advanced, so it can get onto the objective number 1, because its shooting's not going to do much anyway. The Snazwagon did not advance, gets into the middle of the board. And this boys mob down here also advanced. They obviously secured objective 2, since they're a battle line unit, and then they got as far as objective 4, so I should be able to loot that next turn as well. And that means the only shooting is the Snazwagon, and it'll put everything that's in range into the Chthonian Berserks.
Spend a CP on Skein Physiology to give the Chthonian Berserks +1 save.
So the big shooter is in rapid fire range, because it has a 36-inch range, so it'll be 5 shots hitting on 5s, getting none. The mech special is not in rapid fire range, so it'll have 12 shots hitting on 5s, sustained hits 1 on 6s. I've got 1 6 and 2 other hits, so that'll be 4 in total. Toughness 5, strength 5, so wounding on 4s. 3 wounds, these are at -1, be counteracted by Skein Physiology.
Well, I do get a save at least. It's a 6+. Nope. 5+, feel no pains, 31 damage. 1 will die.
So a casualty as we move on to Leagues of Votann, turn 1.
So in my command phase, the Carl can just about see the Death Dread, so you can put a judgment token on it. That's perhaps a poor deployment on my part. Looking at my infantry, the Hearthkin warriors have moved out a little bit so they can see the boys near objective 4. The Berserks have fallen back because if I move them forward, it would be an extremely long charge to hit the Orks, and I don't want to get charged in return. And it also screens off that corner for the teleporter. While the Pioneers are falling back towards the corner to get as far away from the Death Dread as possible, but still be in range, because I want to use their outflanking ability next turn, and they can't do it if they're in combat, and it also screens off that corner from the teleporter. And in the shooting, we'll start with the Hearthkin warriors, because they're all just about in range of the boys, including the Carl. The Magna Rail rifle will shoot at the Death Dread.
And the Orks are going to go to ground. I won't benefit from cover because they have ignores cover thanks to the Panspectral Stegana, but the 6+ invulnerable save could still come in useful against the AP-2 guns.
So I'll do the Iron Blasters first. 7 shots on 4s. Rerolling 1s because of the enhancement. Still a miss, that's 4 hits. Strength 5, so 4s. 1 wound, -2.
So a 6+ invulnerable save thanks to going to ground. Nope, that's a dead Ork.
The High Las rifle on 4s, rerolling 1s. That's 1 hit. Wounds on a 3 because it's strength 6. It does, it's AP -1.
So 6+ either way. Oh, made it.
And the rail rifle, so it hits on a 4, normally it'd be 5, but I've got a judgment token. Rerolling 1s. That's still missed. And the Carl on the Orks has 3 shots on 2s, rerolling 1s. So they all hit. Strength 5, so wounding on 4s, but with devastating wounds on 6s. Nothing. Then I've got the Pioneers. They're going to put everything into the Death Dread. I'm going to spend a CP for Panspectral Sweep to give them lethal hits. So we have 9 shots with the autocannons on 4s, 6s are lethal. Oh, well there's 3 hits and no lethals. Strength 7, so 5s. Oh, 2 wounds at -1.
3+ saves. Made them both.
Pioneer's actually hitting on 3s with the autocannon, so there's 1 extra hit in there, which doesn't wound. And then the rotary cannon, 6 shots hitting on 3s, 6s are lethal and sustained 1. 4 hits, again wounding on 5s. Nothing.
So that'll be a casualty each at the end of Leagues of Votann turn 1. On to Orks turn 2. And at the start of the battle round, I will be calling a War. So all Orks get a 5+ invulnerable save, can advance and charge, and get +1 strength and attacks. So I get 10 victory points for holding both objectives in no man's land, and then I can also loot both of them because it happens in my command phase as long as I'm not in engagement range of something. So objective 1, From the Death Dread, a 4 is 3 victory points, and the boys on objective 4 is a 2, which is also 3 victory points. Those objectives are now looted though and can't be looted again. So the big unit of boys advanced and got a 6, and they can still charge thanks to the War. The Snaz Wagon has come down to cover, literally, objective 4, prevent the Pioneers from coming in too close to this board edge and stealing it. The Death Dread also advanced, getting itself to there, and then the War Boss and his other unit of boys have arrived via teleporter on objective 1, so that can be secured next turn. Objective 4, of course, being secured by the boys. None of the boys' weapons are assault, so the unit that advanced cannot shoot, but the Snaz Wagon can, and it's going to put everything into the Berserks again. Although before it shoots, we're actually going to go back because we forgot to shoot the Mole Launcher from the Berserks last turn. It would have been in range of the boys.
They had taken a casualty, so it's only d6 plus 1. 6 shots on 4s. 3 4s to wound. 1 wound, -1.
And they don't have Ignore's cover, so the go to ground will have affected that with a 5+. Oh, it made a save, so all works out in the end. Big shooter on 5s, getting 2 hits this time, and wounding on 4s, nothing. Then we've got the Grot Blaster, which hits on a 4, nope. And 16 shots from the Mech Special, because it is now in rapid fire range, hitting on 5s, 6s are sustained hits. With the sustained, that was 6 hits, wounding on 4s. 1 wound at -1.
So no save, so 5+ for no pain. Nope, take a wound.
Do the War Boss at them as well, it is in rapid fire range, so 5 shots on 4s, because the Grot is shooting. 3 hits, wounding on 4s, 2, no AP.
6+ armour. Nope. 5+ for no pain. Nope.
The Death Dread advanced, so it can't shoot. These boys can, but the only thing they can see is the Pioneers, and we've got 3 Sluggers, a Rocket Launcher, and 3 Shooters that can see and are in range.
Yeah, and I'm spending a CP for Scaling Physiology again.
D3 shots from the Rocket, 1, which hits on a 5. It did, and it wounds on a 3. Nope. I think I'll re-roll that actually, because Orc stratagem's already not very good, so spend the command points on this. That did wound now, AP -2.
Got 5+ save now because of Scaling Physiology. Nope.
3 damage.
So I'll lose a Mag Rider.
And 9 shots from all the small arms on 5s. 3 hits. 5s to wound, 1.
No AP, so 3+. Nope. Take a wound.
Then we're on to the charge phase. I'll do the Death Dread charging the warriors first. We need a reasonable roll. I think an 8 is enough. That was enough, and then the boys unit gets a 4, which I think is just about enough. Yeah, it's just about enough to get the boys in, so they all look like this. And then we're on to the fight phase, and I'll do the Death Dread first. It has 7 attacks, 4 base, 2 for the 3 claws, and then an extra 1 because of War, hitting on 3s. 4 hits, and it'll be winning on 2s, because it's strength 11 at the moment, thanks to the War. 4 wounds at -2 AP.
Oh, we got 6s. Whoa!
Oh, 3 6s.
And we got Feel No Pains. No, we only lose 1.
And I spent a command point for Get Stuck In to allow the boys to pile in and consolidate up to 6 inches, which means that all of them can get into base contact or base contact of someone who is, so they can all fight. 20 attacks with choppers, because they get an extra 1 each for the War, hitting on 3s. 12 hits wounding on 4s because of +1 strength from the War. 7 wounds at -1 AP.
So 7 5+ saves. Cool, make 3. And then 6+ Feel No Pains from the Medipack. No, 4 dead.
Then we have the ones with the shooters and the big shooter, have 3 attacks each because of the War, on 3s. 5 hits wounding on 4s, just 1, no AP.
4+, no, 6+, yes.
And finally the Nob, who has 4 attacks hitting on 3s. 3 hits, and wounding on 3s, the extra strength doesn't help him. 2 wounds at -1.
5+, they both. So while the Hearthkin are significantly less dead than I thought they'd be, so with some piling in, they're all just about in range of the Orc boys, so they'll all attack the Orcs. So we have 4 close combat weapons hitting on 4s, 3 hits, wounding on 5s, a wound.
5+ invulnerable saves failed, so that's 1 Orc dead so far.
2 attacks with a kin melee weapon on 4s, got a hit, strength 5, so 4s, ooh, wounds, -2, but
5+ invulnerable again, nope.
And the Carl, 3 attacks on 3s, they all hit, strength 8, so 3s, 1 wound.
5+, no, 3 dead Orcs. So we lose the shooters and the big shooter. That's the end of the combat, and the end of the turn.
At the end of the Orc turn, I'm going to use the Harlequin Pioneers outflanking Mag Riders to remove them from the board, and they'll reappear in my next reinforcement step.
We're on to Leagues of Votann turn 2.
In my command phase, I put a judgment token on those Orc boys. Yeah, I didn't get any VP because I only hold my home objective and I don't hold my secondary. Hearthkin warriors have fallen back. They can fall back and shoot because of their enhancement. Berserks will have to go in to finish off those boys if they're still there. Then in the reinforcement step, the Pioneers appeared using their Outriders ability, 6 inches away from the southern board edge and more than 6 from the opponent's board edge and more than 9 away from the Snaz wagons. They can just about fit in that gap, hopefully to go and challenge the Orc home objective. I'll start shooting with the Berserks actually, because they have a blast weapon and they'll shoot the Orcs while there's still more than 5 of them. D6 shots plus 1 for 4. Hitting on 3s, 3. Wounding on 4s, 2 wounds.
5 plus save. Yeah, made 1, so 1 dead.
Hearthkin warriors will also shoot at those boys. Rail rifle will go into the Death Dread again. So 2 iron rifles on 3s, you rolling 1s. They both hit. Wounding on 4s. They both wound.
5 plus 1 will save because the wire is still in effect. Nope, 2 more dead.
Plasma pistol from the squad leader. Hits. Wounds on a 3. It does.
5 plus. Nope.
And the auto rifle is in rapid fire range. So that's 9 shots on 3s, re-rolling 1s. Shame it's not sustained. It's going to be 8 hits. Wounding on 3s. 7 wounds.
3 wounds left in the unit and a 5 plus save. No, they're gone.
And then we've got the rail rifle. Hits on a 4, re-rolling 1s. It hit. Strength 12. So 3s. 6s are devastating. No. You know what, I'll re-roll that. I want to damage the Death Dread. Ooh, devastating.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't get a save.
D3 plus 3 damage. Ooh, 6 damage.
Ugh. So just like that, the Death Dread is down to 2 wounds remaining.
Then my other shooting will be the Pioneers, who'll put everything into the Snaz wagon. So starting with the auto cannons, 6 shots on 4s, 4 hits. Wounding on 4s because it's strength 7. 2 wounds at -1.
5s either way, made 1, so 2 damage.
Yep. 6 shots on the High-Las cannon on 4s, 6 are sustained. 3 hits plus a sustained, so there's 4 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound at -1.
5 plus made that one.
And there's 4 shots from shotguns on 4s. 2 hits. 5s. Nothing.
So 2 damage overall, down to 7.
And then in the charge phase, the Berserks will charge the Death Dread. Needing a 5. Getting a 9. They're in. So they get in like that. And we'll do the strike profile for the Plasma Axe. 7 attacks with the axes. 1 2s, because plus 1 to hit. So only 5 hits. They're only strength 6, so 5s to wound. 2 wounds at -2.
So 4 plus save. Failed 1. It's 2 damage, so it goes down. Does it explode on a 6? No. So with that, the Death Dread is gone, but it will be the end of the Votann turn. So we'll be on to Orcs turn 3. So I gain 10 victory points because I still hold objectives 1 and 4. Both been secured now, and the Warboss and the boys are going to come towards the remaining Votann infantry over here. While the Snaz wagon is going to turn around and come and deal with these Pioneers who appeared. We'll do all the boys shooting into the Berserks, because most of them can only see that unit.
I'm going to spend a CP to go to ground with the Berserks, because I think if you're not already in cover, it's just better than escape warp physiology.
And then 15 shots combined from the shooters and sluggers, all hitting on 5s. 3 hits, wounding on 5s. 1.
5 plus save. No. And a 5 plus feel no pain. Yes.
With the rocket launcher, D3 shots. 1 on a 5. Oh, it did. 3 to wound. That's a wound.
So 6 plus invulnerable save from go to ground. Oh.
D3 damage. 3.
Feel no pain. That wounded man's dead.
Yeah. And I think the Warboss will actually shoot at the Warriors because the Berserks have cover, and hopefully I'll deal with Berserks in melee. So 5 shots on 4s. 2 hits, wounding on 4s. No. And then the Snaz wagon's going to put everything into these Pioneers. Big shooter. 1 hit. 5 to wound. No. Grot Blaster. Hits. Fails to wound because it's only strength 3 and they're toughness 6. And the mech special on 5, 6s are sustained. Only 3 hits and one of those was a sustained, and no wounds on 5s. So on to the charge phase. We'll do the Warboss first so we can get out of the way of the boys, charging just the Berserks. Gets an 8, but that will definitely get him around the back of them, so I'll just roll the boys now. They get a 7. So the Warboss and all the boys make it in like that, and the Snaz wagon is just going to do a 1-inch charge to get into the Pioneers over here. I'll do all the boys first, and I will spend the CP for get stuck in so they can pile and consolidate 6. Basically, if they kill the Berserks, I want them to be able to consolidate towards the objective. Do the power claw first. 3 attacks on 4s. Nope. And then all the boys with the choppers. No wire anymore, so only 3 attacks each. For 15, hitting on 3s. 12 hits, wounding on 5s. 4 at -1.
I'll put them on the axe, so it's got 3 wounds.
This is the one with the mole launcher.
5 plus feel no pain. Ignored 1, so last one. Ignored. Still there.
The rocket launcher can also fight. The 3 shooters are at the back and can't get in range, so that hits twice. 5s to wound. No. So the war boss will have to do the job himself. Piling and Consolidate 6 essentially being wasted there. 4 attacks on 2s. They all hit. And wounding on 2s as well, because it's strength 10. 3 wounds at -2. So they're 2 damage apiece, but the one with 1 wound will have to take it first.
Yeah, feel no pain. They're dead. And the fists lives on a wound. On a 4+, the mole launcher and the axe woman get to fight. Ooh, they do. So I'm going to use the strike profile. We'll put some attacks on the war boss to try and hurt him. 4 attacks on 3s. 3 hits. Wounding on 4s. 3 wounds at -2.
4+ save. Failed 2.
That's 2 damage each.
So the war boss is down to 3. And the war boss will not consolidate into the remaining model, or indeed the warriors, because the fist could kill him, as could the Carl. Doesn't mean he's unengaged and can be shot, but that might be a better deal than this. But the Snazwagon gets to go before that remaining Berserk does. 4 attacks on 4s. 2 hits. Strength 7, so 3s to wound. No, double 2.
Pioneers get to fight back. They got -1 to hit because of all the smoke, so 4 attacks on 5s. Oh, he got hit. It's strength low. No, it doesn't wound. And the lone Berserk, he has to attack the Orcs, so he's got 4 attacks on 4s, getting 3 hits. Strength 9. 3s re-rolling because it's twin linked. Good job, it's twin linked. 3 wounds at -1.
So 6+ saves because the wire isn't on anymore. No, made 2 of them. So 1 Orc gets pulped. So that is the state of the board at the end of Orcs turn 3. On to Leagues of Votann turn 3.
So in my command phase, I'm going to put Judgment Token on the War Boss, because he's unengaged, and then the lone Berserk has to make a leadership test. Leadership 7, so he failed. And then the 2 Pioneers are going to fall back in 3 of the Orcs' home objective, but it is still stickied, I think, until the Orcs' command phase, so they can still use command reroll. The only shooting is going to be the Warriors, who are going to put everything into the War Boss, because he's the only target. Now we'll start with the rail rifle because it's the big gun. 1 shot on a 4, re-rolling 1s. No, it missed. I'm going to re-roll that with a CP. Into a hit. Strength 12, so 2s, 6s are devastating. 8 wounds, -3.
So 5+ armour or invulnerable save either way. No, I'll probably re-rolled that, I think. No, still not. Minimum damage is 4, so he's dead.
And the Halfkin Warriors are going to charge and try and help that Berserk out. 12. Oh, that massive charge, definitely. Well, I'm going to go wrap around, maybe get towards Objective 4 or Objective 1. 4 regular Hearthkin on 4s, getting 1, wounds on 5. Nope. Unit Leader on 4s, nope. And the Carl on 3s, they will hit. Strength 8, so 3s, 3 wounds at -2.
No save, so just squishes 3 Orcs. So losing the ones with shooters and the rocket launcher, but then the Orcs do get to go because it's the Votann turn. 1 Orc is free to pile in, and will do so into the Berserk because it has yet to fight, so we'll put 2 choppers on that one, and the rest are all going into the Warriors. 6 attacks on that Berserk, on 3s, 4 hits, 5 to wound. 1, it's enough.
5+ feel no pain? No.
3 boys on the Warriors, also on 3s. Only 4 hits, wounding on 5s, 1.
5+ armour? Nope. 6+ feel no pain? Nope.
And the big chopper on the Warriors on 3s. Those all hit, and 3s as well. Just 1 wound though, on -1.
5+ armour? Nope.
2 damage from this.
Feel no pain? No. On a 4+, the remaining Berserk gets to fight. Oh, he wasn't mad enough.
Well, that brings us to the end of Leagues of Votann turn 3. On to Orcs turn 4. So I do gain another 10 victory points, and we're going to fall back. We are in range of the objective now, but I've got a more cunning plan with these boys.
But you know what, when they fall back, we'll Overwatch. We got an iron rifle on 6 re-rolling 1s. Nope. The plasma pistol. Nope. The Carl's 3 shots. Nope. 9 shots from the auto rifle. No 1s, but 4 hits. Strength 6, so 3s. No, only 2 wounds at -1.
Still, 6s to save. Nope. So we lose 2 Orcs by doing that, unfortunately. And the Snazwagon is going to continue chasing down these Pioneers. And the boys fell back, so the only shooting is the Snazwagon, obviously all of the Pioneers. Well, the big shooter and the Grot Blaster did nothing, but I'll show the mech special. Finally got a few sustained hits.
Yeah.
Wounding on 5s. Well, 3 at -1.
5 plus saves. Made 2, so still got 2 Pioneers.
And then the Snazwagon will just charge into them again. But over here, we'll spend a CP for Brutal but Cunning, allowing the boys to charge even though they fell back. They roll at 4, which is just about enough. Oh, charging back in, and of course that allows them to strike before the kin. 3 choppers left on 3s. 6 hits wounding on 5s. 2.
5 plus armour. Made 1. 6 plus feel no pain. No.
And 3 attacks from the big chopper on 3s. They all hit. 3s to wound. 2.
Plus saves. Made 1.
So 1 goes through for 2 damage.
And he does well, so that's the height that has.
And the Snazwagon gets to fight on 4s, gets 2 hits, 3s to wound. 2 wounds at -1.
5 plus armour. Ooh, loser.
Made 1, but 2 damage is wasted though.
Yeah.
So 2 left over here of the Warriors unit, but one of them is the Carl, so could still do some damage.
Yeah, I'll do the Warrior. 2 attacks on 3s now because of the Judgment Token. Oh, he's mad. Wounds on 4s. Nope. So the Carl, 3 attacks on 2s. It's 2 hits. Strength 8, so 3s. Oh no, doesn't wound.
Well, and the Lone Pioneer got a wound with a save, which failed on 1, so wound on the Snazwagon. But that'll be it. End of the Orcs turn number 4. On to Leagues of Votann, turn 4.
Battleshock tests for both of my units. We'll do the Pioneers first. They fell with a 3. And the Warriors fell with a 5, but I'll use Insane Bravery. Remaining Warrior and the car will fall back. We'll get on objective 1 at last, and then they'll just shoot at the boys.
Yeah, which they can still do thanks to the car's enhancement.
Yeah, and I put another Judgment Token on so they get +1 to wound as well. Pistol from the unit leader on a 3 rerolling 1s. Yep, strength 8, so normally would be 3s goes to 2s. That's a wound at -3.
No save, no invulnerable save built in.
And then the Carl, 3 shots on 2s rerolling 1s. They will hit. Strength 5 normally, so we're wounding on 3s, 6s are devastating. There's a devastating and a wound, no AP.
So 5 plus save against the wound, which I made, so we lose 1. No, 2 Orcs left over there, and the Snazwagon gets to fight the Pioneer first. On 4s to hit, only 1. And 3 to wound, yes.
5 plus armour. No.
Down to 1 wound left.
And hitbacks on 5s. No.
So that'll be it for Leagues of Votann turn 4. On to Orcs turn 5. So at the end of the command phase, the Leagues of Votann do take objective 1 away, but they didn't score their secondary for at the end of their turn because it had been secured by a battle line unit. It doesn't change until the end of the command phase, whereas their secondary is scored at the end of their turn. And the boys have to make a battleshock test, which they fail, but I've got 3 command points, so I'll spend Insane Bravery to pass that. So the 2 boys, there's no point going to take objective 3 because I'm past the point of being able to score it, so they'll just go towards the 2 remaining kin over here. While the Snazwagon will stay in melee because it can shoot its guns at the Pioneer. We'll do the Grot Blaster first. It's a pistol, so it doesn't have -1 to hit. It hit. It wounds on a 6. No. The big shooter did nothing, but then we got the mech special on 6s, but those are sustained. 4, so that's 8 hits. Wounding on 5s. 2.
5 plus armour. That failed both.
2 boy sluggers, miss, and then they make a charge roll of enough. Charging into those 2 remaining kin, and then we get to a fight first. The boy with his chopper hits twice and fails to wound, and the knob with his big chopper hits 3 times.
Power Claw.
Apologies, this is the one with the power claw, and so he would have been hitting on 4s. I think I might have made the mistake last turn, but I don't think it would have made much difference. So it missed all of them.
So Halfkin Warriors, 2 attacks on 3s. Gets a hit. Wounds on a 3. Oh, it does. -2.
Kills the remaining boy. Can the Carl finish off the knob?
3 attacks on 2s. I'm going to reroll that 1. Yeah. Dang it. Wounds on the 2.
Yeah, it's dead. Yeah. So that leaves 3 models on the board. Obviously we know the result, but the Leagues of Votann could actually score some victory points.
So basically I need to make a battleshock test. Pass with a 9.
So that doesn't score anything yet, but in the command phase they do secure that objective, and then they can move off it because they started the turn on it.
So we're moving towards the Snazwagon. It's got a extra Judgment Token on it, and then shoot at it. Flames out of range. So I'll do the Carl's weapons. 3 shots on 2s, we roll 1s. They all hit. So it would be 5s goes to 4s because it's got 2 Judgment Tokens on it, and 6s is devastating. That's 2 wounds at AP 0.
4s, 1 goes through. It's down to 5.
So we need to make an 8-inch charge to get to the Snazwagon. 7. I'll re-roll it. 8.
Yeah, so with a charge and a pile in, they get to there. They have the same OC as the Snazwagon, so they do have to destroy it to take their own objective there.
2 attacks from the kin melee weapon on the Thane on 4s, because we get +1, -1. We got a hit. Strength 5 normally would be 5s, goes to 4s. It's a wound, -2.
Yeah. 6 to save. Nope.
2 damage.
Down to 3, so the Carl only needs to get 1 hit through.
3 attacks on 3s, they all hit. Strength 8 would be 3s, goes to 2s. 3 wounds at -2.
Triple 6. Made 1, but no, it does go down. Does it explode? No, it doesn't.
And then we can consolidate onto the objective. And it was unstickied in the previous Orks command phase by the 2 pioneers.
Yep, so it was no longer secured, so therefore it is up for grabs, and it is worth 10 at the end of turn 5 for the side that went second.
Yeah, and I hold objective 1 as well, which I also score for 5, and it was my secondary objective, so I get 19 victory points in 1 turn, which isn't bad for 2 models.
So the final score with painted models will be 51 to 29, but possibly a surprising outcome in terms of models left on the board, given how the game was looking at the start. So an Orc victory, but still quite an interesting one, and we'll recap that for you now. Well, those were 2 games for issue 61 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Well, let's talk about the Magus' game first, but how do you think that one went?
Well, it ended up being very close, I think largely because the Magus rolled really badly. It's not really a good showcase of the Magus. She's not a particularly powerful character on her own. Yes, she can fight 4 Guardians eventually. If they don't attack her, if they shot her, I think she'd go down very quickly.
Yeah, it's difficult to know what to do with a character like that for the first game because she is just so individually weak. Doing it like this, I suppose it's perhaps not all that inspiring because the Guardians literally just shoot at some terrain and then she has to clobber them.
And even her ability's not that good, to be perfectly honest, within the context of Combat Patrol. The main benefit is that stratagems and enhancements she can give units. I think she might be the only character we've had that can actually fit with 2 different units, but on her own. She is not a duelist style character. She doesn't even have a ranged psychic attack or anything, but she is a cool looking character. Obviously good value for money as well, but we probably have to talk about her and the Genestealer Cults as we get more of them. She's not very powerful individually.
And then talking about our Combat Patrol game, well, it's the first time we've seen Leagues of Votann at all, and the first time we've seen the Boomdacker Snazwagon. And I think we've got a pretty good showcase of everything, actually, to be honest. It looked at the start like it wasn't going to be a very long game when the Orks just charged in and tied everything up almost immediately. But then with the combination of some warriors who wouldn't die, taking out the Death Dread without too much difficulty, and then the War Boss not really doing all that much himself, it was actually quite close in a cinematic sense. Obviously in points it wasn't. The Orks being aggressive just meant they took all the points early on.
Fortunately the game's only 5 turns. If the game had gone on longer, I would have won because I had models left. Yeah, and I was quite worried because there's so many Orks and the Ion Blasters are more anti-elite infantry weapons, I'd have thought. And I was quite worried about the Death Dread, but apparently you just need to roll really well for the Magnum Rail Rifle and it just loses 3/4 of its health. Then you hit it with an axe. But the secondary objective I picked was not the best one for this game. If it was on Clash of Patrols, I think starts with a secondary objective very close to the deployment zone, but is outside of it. So that's clearly one that would work really well with that secondary objective.
Yeah, and it is actually an example of where the choice of secondary objective and the fact you can choose it after deployment is actually quite good because it's one of those ones that is better in certain scenarios.
The enhancement I picked was probably the right choice for a full 10-man squad of Hearthkin. Perhaps the other one is better if you're going to split them in half because it gives them more OC and re-rolling battle shock tests, I think.
Well, yeah, this was very effective because they fell back and shot a couple of times.
Yeah, and the Berserks survived long enough and the War Boss ended up being unengaged so I could just shoot him. The Magnum Rail Rifle really did some work in this game. Bit disappointed by the Pioneers shooting. Think perhaps I should have put a judgment token on the Snazwagon on the turn they are redeployed and tried to shoot it to death. I would have completely controlled the backfield then.
Yeah, and I think this game did finally, as you'd like to hope, really show what the judgment tokens are for, because when you were attacking things without judgment tokens on them, it was often not very effective. When you were attacking things with judgment tokens, it went a lot better.
I think a full round of shooting from all the Hearthkin killed 1 Orc, and then a round of shooting from half of the Hearthkin with a judgment token killed 5 or 6 Orcs, or something like that. I think it also showed how good the toughness 5 on Hearthkin is, as the regular boys really seem to struggle to hurt them.
Yeah, without the war in effect, winning them on 5s in melee, even with that many attacks, actually it takes quite a while to take them down. Even the Berserks actually survived a lot longer than I expected, given their poor armour save, because with the toughness and the feel no pain, they really take quite a long time to get rid of. And the Snazwagon as well, I'm sure the crew had a good time. They got to drive around and shoot a lot of stuff. I'm not sure how actually effective it was. It took a long time to deal with the Pioneers. It's not that great in melee, but the shooting shooting wasn't brilliant. I think the mech special took a few turns to warm up. Later on, it got quite a lot of sustained hits, but it just goes to show how swingy it is, like a lot of Orc shooting, really. Not that I really ever expected anything from Orc shooting. I think in hindsight, the Deathcopters might have been a better choice for this particular game, but I think in this matchup, I would still be inclined to pick the Snazwagon because it has all that anti-infantry firepower, which is good against things like the Berserks or the Warriors. The Deathcopters, the only target for their rockets really would be the Pioneers. I suppose the Berserks as well, because they have 2 wounds each.
Well, I think it doesn't really matter because you just need the high strength to wound things.
Yeah, and the Deathcopters are still quite good in melee because they have a lot of attacks. Also, we did wonder how the Leagues of Votann deal with big tough things. The answer we came to was the Berserks, and that seemed to be...
Yeah, I think with 2 judgment tokens on something like the Jeff Dread, you could deal with it fairly reasonably.
Or even the Hearthkin Warriors with 2 tokens, because wounding it on 4s with the Iron Rifles and actually AP, they could blink wounds off it. And obviously the Berserks are good against infantry as well, so... But against a shootier army that can put more firepower into them, like the Aeldari, for example, they probably wouldn't make it into melee, or at least that would be the plan. Anyway.
You'd have to hide them.
We did get to see the Pioneers' outflanking ability, which was certainly very handy. Certainly changed the direction, or certainly gave me something else to think about, because otherwise you're entirely hemmed into your deployment zone. But it does give you some speed and manoeuvrability in an otherwise very static force, which is obviously the point of them.
Yeah, I will say it is a bit like playing the Space Marines with the Votann, where every casualty really hurts, even just the regular Hearthkin. But it'd be interesting to see how they do against a less front-up aggressive army.
Or for that matter against something like the Tyranids, which usually does well against the Space Marines because, for example, the Tyranid Prime can just tie up the Infernus Marines, whereas I'm not sure I'd be quite so keen to charge the Tyranid Prime into the Hearthkin with the Carl, because the Carl could beat the Tyranid Prime from the safety of a unit. But anyway, I think that's it for this video of those 2 games and obviously our new model, so plenty to talk about. Let us know what you thought of any of that in the comments below. Obviously, if you did enjoy the video, then leave a like and subscribe. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.